Hello and welcome to rainy Bolton. This is what Bolton is like most of the time. England scraped through after a dreadful performance last night, and that has continued over into the Bolton weather today. So what we're going to do for you today is we're going to do a catch up on the lawn behind you, because if you remember, we were here 2 weeks ago giving it a micro renovation and a feed. So let's show you how that's kicked on, and I'll show you why it's no good to leave your lawn not cut when it's wet. Alright, so if you remember, we were here, we put the equilibrium on and I showed you how to put it on accurately, and as you can see, it's a pretty accurate job. Now, at the weekend I came and cut this, and while I was here I thought, well, I'm going to be filming Monday, so I'll put some Galactic on, and in with that I put some Orbit and a little bit of Depitox Weed Killer, which is just 2,4-D, which is ideal for the broadleaf weeds that we've got, like dandelions and plantains, so they're already been affected. So what we're going to do is, it's important to keep the lawn cut when it's wet, because we'll lose control of it otherwise, because what's going to happen is you're not going to cut it for a week or however long, and then you naturally, because you're not going to be able to cut it as short as you was, you're going to leave it a little bit longer, and then you've lost control of it because you're never going to be able to get it back to what it was before. So it's important, no matter what the weather, get it cut. Even if you've got an electric machine, you can always plug in an RCD into the plug hole to give you the protection from the wet and any electrocution. So there's no excuse really. If it's boggy, obviously maybe there's a little bit of an excuse, but try and cut the areas just a little bit off. No need to take it back to where you were, but just a little bit, and then the next time you cut, you're not taking as much off. So there's a answer for everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a rotary cut first, and then we'll go over it with a cylinder and we'll see how it looks. Also, we've got the coarse grasses there showing up. Now what's happening with those is they're probably going into reproductive mode, so they're drawing all the energy from the leaf to produce seed heads, but they're not going to be able to do that because we're cutting regularly. So what it'll do is it'll just drain all the energy from the leaf, and it'll turn yellow a little bit, go a little bit discoloured, but in time it'll just return when it can take some feed up, when it's decided that it's no point trying to produce seeds because we're cutting it, it's never going to get to that point. So that'll return, but hopefully they're not going to stand out too much like they are today. I think just because there's water sitting on the leaf as well, that's just making them look a little bit more prominent than they usually are. But in the main, the idea with this lawn was always to get a nice lawn out of something that we know isn't going to be absolutely stunning. So we've achieved that already, so it's just a case of keeping it going, and let's see. So we have our Hater Harrier 48. Now there's one way to make sure grass cutting in the rain is more enjoyable, and that is having a nice dry and clean grass box. So what I've done is I have swapped my slimy green one, wet one, which I've been using all day, over, and I'm using Mark's nice clean fresh one because he doesn't like cutting in the rain. So that's going to help us tenfold on picking up, because what we need is we need the air passing through the bag out the back to ensure good suction. My chain cover cap has broke off there, but not got it round to replacing it yet, but it's not doing it any harm. In fact, it's actually better because it sticks out a little bit and you end up catching it on the wall, and that's why it fell off at this job. So not having it on means I'm not actually clipping it on anything, but we'll get it replaced because obviously we're catching the chain as we're going along and getting gunk in there, but it's just out of sight, out of mind. So let's crack on, as this rain is now falling even harder. So we're just on with the Hater 48. I'm cutting it on number 3 at the moment, just because if we do it on 2, it'll just take too much off and it will just clog up. 4 as well will be too long and it won't take enough off. So 3 is the perfect choice today, and then we can get on with the Kensington afterwards. Now, I've had Hondas in the past, but these are absolutely useless at picking up grass in the wet, and they leave a horrible white hue on the grass after you've cut it. As soon as I went to Hater, I knew I was never ever going to go back, and that was back in 2007, and this is the only mower range I've ever had. When the brand new, I could have mowed this lawn without stopping, because there's no scratches underneath or anything. The grass just glides straight through into the grass bag. Now, if you've got a green hand after you've finished, bit of sugar, bit of fairy liquid, that'll come straight off. All right, so look at that, lovely deep green stripe from the Galactic. Before I put that on, it looked like the other lawn over there. I'll show you that in a sec. That's not had any, but it has that equilibrium. You can just see the distinct difference in like deepness of green. But so what we're going to do now is we'll get the Kensington out and go over it and just reduce the height a little bit more. If at this point you feel your lawn's had enough, and it's not going to take a second rollering or mowing, then just call it a day. Just say I've taken off what I can, and on the next dry day I'll get out and I'll do what I normally do and get it back down. But like I've said, don't just leave it, because you'll lose it. So that's very important, that at least do something. So what we'll do is fire the Kensington up, and hopefully it'll pick up some of these bits which have just fallen off from underneath the rotary. But all in all, considering it's wet, the new grass bag there, the dry grass bag, has really helped with picking up the wet grass that we've cut. So this is Mark's side. He's been taking care of this under my tutelage, but I've cut it today because, as I said before, he doesn't like cutting in the wet, so it won't get done, and it's growing. So I've cut it today for him, double stripe, but you can just see now it's a lovely deep green colour, but it's not as deep green as the other side, as I'll show you right now. So you can see the difference. What the iron does, it just kind of deepens that colour green and just makes it like the tree green, like the leaves on the trees, because there's more chlorophyll in there, so you get a deeper green. Whereas there is chlorophyll actually in there, obviously, but just not as much, so it's not as green. That's how it works. Okay, so I'm now just going over with the Alec Kensington with the cylinder attachment in. I've got it set at number 3 on the dial, and this is giving us a lovely polished tip, and you can really see that stripe being enhanced, which the cylinder mower is all about. All right, let's just have a look at this. Oh my God, absolutely fantastic. Cloudy days like this are great because they give you an indication of how green your lawn actually is. The sun sometimes hides a multitude of sins. I'm actually stood on top of my van for you. Been filming from up here just to get the best possible view, and that is our absolutely beautiful view. So the equilibrium's kicked in, the galactic green's kicked in. If we just have a look over at that lawn over there, we can see it's a lovely green colour, but it's not deep green like this one. Look at that. Not great cutting with a cylinder when it's wet, I'll be honest. So only do that if you can, because obviously there's no suction, so it doesn't pick anything up. It just basically, all the grass that hasn't picked up by the rotary sticks to the rear roller, and then as you're going along, that gathers at the top and then falls off in big clumps. I've been constantly trying to disperse that with my foot as I'm going. But yeah, this is actually looking better than a few weeks ago when we crisscrossed it with the mower with the tartan stripe. So yeah, that is absolutely phenomenal. Get in. Okay, so we'll just have a closer look. Beautiful. And those weed grasses don't stand out so much now. Just looking across. Absolutely stunning. So you can see now why it's important to keep cutting in the wet, because we don't want to lose control of that grass. The next time we come, hopefully it'll be dry, and then we can start the process again. But next time I'll cut left to right, just to make sure that this grass doesn't start growing in this direction, because we have gone this way over the past few weeks now since we swapped it around. I've just been in between weathers and other things with the French coming up and stuff, so I've just been cutting with the rotary, and I cut with the cylinder on Saturday and then on it today again, so we're back in control of it. So yeah, beautiful. All right, that's it from rainy Bolton today. Hopefully next time the sun will be shining and we can get on with something else lawn related. But that's it for now. So take care and we'll see you next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, if it's raining, just keep cutting. Bye for now.